Blog Talk Radio.
Live. It's Under the Mat Radio. This is your host, Tech, with co-host.
And that's C Game Boy, what it is, what it do.
And with our lead correspondent, videographer.
Shenblade. How's everybody doing?
Doing good.
Good, man.
Everybody, today's episode is titled The Genius Speaks, because momentarily we will have returning the man himself, the genius, otherwise also known as Sleeping Lanny Poffo. A good friend of ours who will be calling in momentarily. He will be discussing about the journey, the long journey and much-deserved journey of him finally inducting his late great brother, the Macho Man Randy Savage, into the WWE Hall of Fame, just a few weeks ago. So he'll be talking about that and, of course, more coming up. And also, fans, later on today, on top of the hour, 8 p.m., will be a whole hour of discussions as we start to do that more to give you fans and listeners the choice to talk. We have a lot of big wrestling news to talk about, a lot of things, of course, to promote, and a lot of discussions. As, of course, we all know Shenblade is good at that, at providing the news, of course, and our co-correspondent, Toph, and will be joining us then. But to get all that out the way, first, you can follow the show on Twitter at tech_UTMR. You can follow NSC Game Boy on Twitter at
NSC Game Boy, spelled correctly.
Yes, and you can follow Shenblade on Twitter at
the sensational one.
Yes, Shen, are you gonna spell it?
Nope.
He said no. You don't know how to spell the sensational one? Yes, write it on your own. Google it. Try to sound it out, or
that's on your own.
Use the JAWS software, which you can use a computer, sound out words, and they'll spell it for you. Or just follow us on Facebook at Under the Mats Radio. We have a like page and group page. Thank you much for the likes. As NSC Game Boy always says, blue thumbs.
Thumbs! Thank you for the thumbs.
Please turn that white thumb to blue. Please make it have colors. Shenblade give you all the details right now about our YouTube page.
It's under the Mat Radio. We post our interviews from our shows that we go to, and we do archive the episodes that we have, including this one. Usually, on average, they'll be uploaded like the first thing Wednesday morning, if not Tuesday. So just sit back. If you're not a live listener, we all have work schedules and everything. Just go ahead and listen to it, and just comment, see what you think, see what you like, and because unlike a lot of other shows, we appreciate comments, likes, suggestions, and most of all, constructive criticism if many of you have them.
Yes. So with that being said, we're gonna bring in Lanny Poffo in about 1 minute. Well, also, please, if you need to email us with any ideas you have, fans, about Shen's road trip videos, our interviews we post on Facebook, on the show, please email us at underthematsradio@gmail.com. Please follow us on Instagram at underthematsradio, all one word. And with that being said, we're going to bring in right now our good old buddy who is now live, the genius himself, Lanny Poffo. Welcome, brother.
I am the genius full of glory and renown.
What's up, G? How you living, baby?
How you doing, Lanny?
I'm doing great. You guys, I was in Maryland and I missed you. We couldn't get together. It was just crazy. It was busy. I was very, very upset. But you know what?
Me too.
Everything's going to be all right because the Macho Man is finally in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, he is. And I would like to say we all were upset too that we couldn't get to meet you. I know some things came up last minute, but all times coming soon. We will meet face to face with the genius, and we'll have a great time.
And you're going to genuflect. You're going to bow to the waist and kiss the ring that I wear for my brother.
Yes, for sure. And if the game boy will kiss the ring, we definitely will.
You don't have to do that. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to make you do that. But it's like a very Catholic thing. They're supposed to kiss the ring of the Catholic Pope. It's a papal thing, Like, but I don't wear I used to wear a funny hat, So I used to wear the cap and gown. That's about as traditional as the Pope's hat.
Yes, and we will say too before we get into the topic of discussion with the Hall of Fame, Lanny, that you still look great. You revealed on the Hall of Fame you're 60 years old. You look good. You look good in shape. You don't look bad at all.
Well, thank you. I'm stiff all over my body except one place.
Oh.
Okay.
Hopefully, you have any problems with that, brother? I'm sure there's different things you can do to fix it.
There's different things I suppose I could do, but I tried wearing a splint.
So with that being said, Lanny, we're gonna start off, of course, with the Hall of Fame. Recently, you just had the honor of inducting your brother, the late great Macho Man Randy Savage, into the Hall of Fame. We want to ask you first, Lanny. Tell us about the moment. Where were you at when you got the phone call? Let us know how all of that, how all of it started.
Well, the thing is, I saw a movie one time, Viva Zapata, with Marlon Brando, and he was playing a freedom fighter, in the Mexican Revolution, I guess. And they said, well, I promise you this. And he says, we make our tortillas out of corn, not promises. And I always remembered that line. So even though I haven't seen the movie in forever. So I've actually kind of known about it for over a year, that Randy was going to go in. But see, they don't like to have two posthumous inductees the same year. And, of course, Paul Bearer died. And they wanted to give him, he was already going to be the deceased person, but they don't want to have everybody in the Hall of Fame that's dead, So they told me to keep it a secret. And I kept it a secret. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell you. I didn't tell anybody. But then they leaked it. So I can keep a secret. I only told my mommy, but she doesn't see anybody. So then when they actually officially announced it, they said they spelled it on TMZ, and then it was going to be on Raw. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't know that I was going to accept the award. Everybody said Hogan was going to induct him, but I wasn't announced as the guy that was going to accept him. But I thought it was just common sense that it would be me, because. I mean, if not me, who was it going to be? My mom or Randy's wife, So,
right.
But then it turned out there were two posthumous inductees after all. That would be Randy and the Crusher, the little boy that died of the brain tumor, the brain cancer.
Yes.
So, the evening was a little bit melancholy anyway. But I think the two guys that made up for that was the Bushwhackers. Oh, yay! That was pretty great. I mean, they made the fans laugh right after they cried.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. They did, definitely did. But this, I'm going to turn it to Shimblade. Have him start it off with some more questions.
Actually, I had a question for Lanny outside of wrestling, and one of the things that I was inspired by that I learned years ago, that apart from your poetry in the ring, you did poetry outside the ring, and you'd had like 2 books of limericks that were dedicated to anti-smoking and alcohol. Can you please explain that?
Well, in 1988, I had a book, Wrestling with Rhyme, and that was all the Leaping Lanny poems that I had on TV, and then some other poems that I did for my private life. Because I enjoy poetry not just on television, but sometimes, in my personal life. So the ones that I thought were good enough to be in that book, and they're both available in actual book form and in Kindle. And both books have gone international bestseller in the Kindle. So go for Wrestling with Rhyme, and then Limericks from the Heart and Lungs. That was a runner-up in the that was nominated for a Newbery Medal for excellence in children's literature, and that was Absorbent and Yellow is He, in A Pineapple Under the Sea. The ocean's too wet for a lit cigarette, so SpongeBob is happy, smoke-free. If smoking is cool as they claim, then why is it always the same? The first time you try, you wish you could die. The last time achieving your aim. When Sheila earned her Ph.D. with her boyfriend of equal degree, dissertations got tough, so they smoked off the cuff. How stupid can smart people be? That's 3 limericks, all about smoking, but there's 335 in the book. So you can imagine I spent a long time on Microsoft Word for that thing.
Wow. All right. Thank you for that. NFC Game Boy?
Well, Lanny, my question is that, first of all, I was there at California at WrestleMania weekend, and I got a chance to see a lot of the sights and everything and feel the energy in the air. How do your family feel overall now that that honor has been bestowed upon Randy? How do your family feel now that it's kind of like, you finished the race,
Well, I can tell you how I felt. I felt relieved because relieved that we're not going to punish the fans anymore. Okay, now the fans are going to have to find something else to be punished about, but they're not going to be punished about this here. And I feel relieved, like a big burden has been lifted. And I'm glad the speech was well received. You see, I was very unhappy about WrestleMania 29, the Hall of Fame there in Madison Square Garden, when Maria Menounos was booed. They actually booed her when she was trying to induct Bob Backlund. And Bob Backlund is one of my favorite performers ever. And he's exactly what wrestling is good. He's what's good about wrestling. Like doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs, doesn't curse. He's a very viable, religious citizen. And here's Maria Menounos, who's prettier than a diva, and she's trying to make a nice speech for Bob Backlund, and the people are booing her, which leads me to say, how many New Yorkers does it take to change a light bulb? None of your freaking business. That's how many it takes. They're just rude people or something. So I was glad that nobody yelled at me like that. But what I decided to do is not go long. I only went 8 minutes, which was like one of the shortest speeches there was, except for Fujinami.
Right. And I will say too, I will say too, Lanny, I was surprised watching your speech. I thought you would go a little longer, but sometimes you don't have to be long. Like some people talk for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or what have you. Sometimes less is more, and keeping it short and to the point. I still think it was very effective.
Well, I tell you what, the first person to speak was Rikishi, and his sons went long, and then he went long, and then it was Medusa, Alundra Blaze, and she went a long time, and then Larry Zbyszko was all over Bruno's butt, and forgot where he was a couple of times,
Mm-hmm.
And it was getting to be a long evening. I was tired. Of course, don't forget it's 3 hours earlier then, so the day never ends for me. It's like midnight is like 3 in the morning.
There's a lot of
I
editing.
want to ask you. Yeah, it is. Is there anything, Lanny, at the Hall of Fame overall that happened that you like to talk about that we didn't get to see for those that watched it on TV?
We got there early, and we took pictures, did video. They told us how to enter, how to leave, and it was just amazing to see the set. The microphone with the dais and the background jumbotron. To really get up there and look at it up close. I'm a little bit impressed with all this new technology. Every year it seems they get better at it. And it keeps getting better no matter what. So I just think it's phenomenal. And then, of course, talking to some of the younger talent, it's just they were very, very receptive to me. I really enjoyed everybody, particularly Damian Sandow. What a nice person he is. And, people think that he stole my gimmick. He certainly did not. I stole that gimmick from a lot of people. It's just that when you don't have big arms, you point to your head, and besides, Bobby Heenan never got mad because he was the brain, and then I became the genius. He never raised an issue. So there's nothing wrong with two people doing it because each person will do it differently.
Right. It's true. What can you let us know what your conversation was like with Damian Sandow backstage?
It's about the fifth time I've talked to him because I talked to him last year and everything. He's just an excellent person, and I wish him all the best. Now he's getting away from that gimmick and he's going to the stunt double thing. Well, whatever, I'm not against anything that's going to get over. Whatever works, I'm fine with.
Also, we have a question from a fan just now that sent to me on Facebook. Let me get to it for a second. He says, Mr. Lanny Poffo, have you ever thought about doing a documentary about your family's territory, ICW?
Well, I have already turned down several offers to do books and documentaries. I'm just a little bit, I'm protecting my mom because if I do it, I want to tell the truth. And if I tell the truth, it might hurt some people. But all I can say is, Sean Oliver, the Breaking Kayfabe and the Kayfabe commentaries.
Yes, he'll be with us next week, yes.
You too, what was that?
Yes, we'll have him on next week. He does the U-shoots and all of that.
Oh, you're going to have him on next week?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Well, you tell him that I was on your show the week before him, plugging the fact that my DVD is coming out, and it was Sean Oliver asking me all these questions, and I must have drank a truth serum before I went out there because I was like all over the place, and it was the most honest interview I've ever done, and I just hope the fans enjoy it.
Okay.
Thank you. NSC Game Boy?
Well, my next question to you, Lanny, is this. With everything pretty much now in the books and on the record and everything, is there a wrestler out there that you probably got a chance to talk to or that you noticed that's really kind of catch your eye, that you really got a little fond of? Or, I know you just talked about Sandow and how glad that you are with him getting over. But if there's any other wrestler out there that, really just kind of, I guess embodies that spirit that you see climb up the ladder or anything?
Well, I would say Daniel Bryant is an excellent guy, and he was really, really nice to me. Mm-hmm. And, he made a very good speech, and then he appreciated my speech. And so I said, well, I liked his too, and I'm a big fan of his. I would have liked to have told him that Randy was, but of course Randy died 4 years ago, and he didn't even get on the scene until later. So he's kind of a new face. But I'll tell you what. I was on the Chris Jericho podcast. Did anybody hear that?
I did.
Yeah, he was. As long as I've been around, I've never really met him, and what a nice person. I enjoyed being on his podcast, and now I notice he's got one on the WWE Network with John Cena. And they were talking it over, and anyway, I would have to say, there were so many. John Cena himself, I think he carries himself with a lot of dignity, and I think he's very good as the face of the company. And I was a big fan of CM Punk too. He was, and I just on the Friday before the Saturday Hall of Fame, I had a chance to be with Rob Van Dam and I had a comedy gig, okay, with RVD and a couple of the guys, and
okay.
It was really I had a lot of fun doing the comedy. I stayed up a little bit too late, and Colt Cabana, him and I did shtick together back and forth. What a fun thing, he's really quick-witted, and we had some fun with the fans.
Good. That is good. And we'll say we did see your work with Colt Cabana when you were seeing in Maryland, and y'all two did a great job together with comedy.
Well, yeah, the thing is that was like in Baltimore. I mean, in Joppa, Missouri. I'm in a tag match. I said, look, you got to tote the mail because I'm 60, so I just hold the rope. So as long as I can go out there, read a poem, and do a moonsault, I figure I don't have to give a refund. So that's what I did. So, but, I just don't want to embarrass myself in front of the fans. But they said, is there any way you can still wrestle? I said, well, not really. Come on. You see, I've never been hurt, but I don't want to start now. This is my retirement, and I don't want to ruin it by getting injured. But I enjoy comedy. I enjoy being on the stage with Colt Cabana. What a great guy.
Mm-hmm. Who else back in the day were you wrestling for the WWF, what it was back then, in the 80s? Who did you love to work with back then, especially in a comedic match?
Well, I would say as Leaping Lanny, I would love to work with Terry Funk. I would look, and also Bob Orton Jr., I would look better losing to those two guys than if I would beat Barry Horowitz. It would do more for me to lose to Bob Orton Jr. and Terry Funk than to defeat Barry Horowitz. Now, you may say that's crazy. It's better to get the win. But you know what? To be in a great competitive match with somebody that is like a maestro of this business, I would, it sounds crazy, but trust me, this is the way I feel. And then when I became a villain, of course, my best match ever was against Hulk Hogan, because, and that was comedy, but so what? You know what I mean? That was my big, the moment that I drank from the silver chalice of success.
You actually beat Hulk Hogan too.
I'm sorry?
I said you actually beat Hulk Hogan too in that match.
Yeah, by countout and by cheating and chicanery, and did not get the belt. But Mr. Perfect broke the belt in the locker room, and everybody remembers it.
Yes.
With that too, Lanny, before I turn it back over to Shin, Hulk Hogan, of course, introduced you. And, of course, over the a lot of fans talk about Hogan and Savage and their rivalry back in the days. Me personally, I felt Hogan's speech was very heartfelt, and even saw, the emotion from Hogan's face talking about Savage. What are your thoughts on Hogan's speech before he brought you onto the stage?
Well, there was a part in my first poem when I said, when the mega powers exploded, the storyline was real, life's too short to hold a grudge, now's the time to heal. So that's how I felt. Listen, Hulk, I love the man, okay? And we're all getting older, and there is no point. I refuse to carry feuds the rest of my life the way Randy used to. You know, if one thing happened, he hated you forever. And this is a good way to stay miserable. I want to be happy every day of my life, and the way to do that is to love everybody every day of my life, or if not love everybody, at least not hate them. So if I can't love them and I have to hate them, at least I would not think about them, would put them out of my mind. But see, if I have a negative thought, I want to change the channels. If it was a TV show, I'd change channels. But Randy would get a box of popcorn, sit down and watch the movie, you know, and never let it die. So that's, you know, there's a lot of differences between Randy and I. Of course, he was more Hall of Fame worthy, but I am a more thoughtful and forgiving person. And I happen to love Hulk Hogan more than anybody else, and I think it's great that he was the one to induct Randy. He got to get all that off of his chest, and the fans got a chance to hear it all and accept his love. And, you know, we all have problems, and we all have people that we need to forgive. And I just thought it was a beautiful thing what Hulk did, and I'm very happy about how the evening went. It certainly could have went worse.
Yeah, it's true. What about your feelings towards Vince McMahon Jr.? Did y'all have any words, or was there anything he told you before you went out?
He was very nice to me, the way he always is very nice to me. He's nice to everybody. And, of course, you know, the very next morning, he's there bright and early. He's always in the trenches. He doesn't, he never yawns. He's always go get him. And anyway, he expressed to me that he liked my speech. So I felt good about that.
Good. Shane?
Well, I know from what you were saying about your brother Randy, from one Scorpio to another, we do hold some content when it comes to having differences between one another. So I would know Randy and other Scorpios best by that, because we just don't like people, and when it happens, it's very, very hard to turn us around. Very difficult to turn us around. Now, being as I said, when you said about Randy holding grudges, tell me, what was your opinion, and you probably already answered this question, what was your opinion when Randy Savage made that infamous album that he did about 10 years ago, or more than 10 years ago?
Well, I actually wrote one of the songs on that album. He asked me to write one for Mr. Perfect. So I said, The Perfect Friend, that was my song. So,
okay.
And Randy thought that he was going to sell 50 million albums, and he wound up only selling about 70,000. And he took that as a horrible loss, you know, like a disappointment. He sold 70,000 albums, which is pretty great, but he thought he was going to sell 50 million, which is, you know, even better. So he was disappointed. And plus, some of the critics that are, you know, music critics or rap album critics, one of them said it did something impossible. It did the impossible. It sucked and blew at the same time. Ooh. You know, so Randy took that personally. So that's where Randy decided to give it a rest. And Randy we'd be on the phone, and all of a sudden he'd say something like, if I'd say something, he'd say, "True that." Well, I feel that a white guy has no business saying that after a certain age. You see what I mean? It's like if something brand new happens in the hood, that doesn't mean a white guy's got to say it if he's in his 50s. You know, a 50-year-old man saying "true dad" doesn't feel right to me. I feel it's great if it's somebody. You see what I mean? It's like, who in the hell are you trying to prove? You know what I mean? It's like you ain't one. You know, you're not True Dat and WhatsApp and all that. Whatever would come into vogue, like he would keep up with it. And I was like, God, it's like he's always got the next one, you know. But I mean, there comes a time when us old men got to wear our pants real high about our man boobs, you know, and just wear socks and sandals at the same time, you know, and go to the restaurant and get a discount, you know, for your senior. You know what I mean?
Right.
Be yourself. You understand that keeping up with the latest Urban Dictionary slang, you know. But instead of True Dat, say I agree with you. You know? Like,
right. So, Lanny, there's no slang. You don't use any slang at all?
I use slang that was popular in the 60s. You know, like
give us some examples.
Oh God. Let's see. Well, I bet you haven't heard the word groovy in a long time.
Actually, I said that days ago.
What's that?
Actually, I said that days ago.
Okay, but I mean, it used to be a song, slow down, you move too fast. You got to make the morning last, just kicking down the cobblestone, looking for fun and feeling groovy. You know, and I never felt, that was like when the Beatles came out in 1964, and, you know, groovy came in, and it was kind of a drug term, you know, because that was when the drugs started coming. It was, oh, groovy, man, oh, you know. So in 1964, I was 10 years old, and now I'm the big 6-0. But, you know, these terms come and go, but nowadays you guys play your music too loud and all these complaints, you know. So anyway, I'm just kidding.
Oh, so you say groovy. Is there anything else that you mentioned?
Let me see. Swell. I can't think of any. I just
have to be in the moment.
I just don't think I can get away with having a gangsta vocabulary. But Randy liked keeping up with it, so I guess that's how he stayed young and current.
With that, Lanny, I'm gonna bring in other correspondent Toph. You there?
Hey, Tech, what's going on?
Hey, buddy, you on live with Lanny Poffo, and he had a question for him.
Hey, Mr. Poffo, it's honored to talk to you. Would you mind going into detail about the confusion about when you were technically under contract with WCW, but they never used you? I always found that to be really confusing. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, I'll talk about that right now. My brother comes up to me, and he says, "Oh, I got a great idea. I want to make you Gorgeous George. I'm going to buy the name." And so then he knew this girl. Her name was Carol Albury. And we became very good friends. And she had a beauty parlor in Seminole, Florida. So, I mean, who am I to argue? So she dyes my hair blonde or bleaches it blonde and then fits me with a $300 hair extension. Do you know anything about hair extensions?
Yes.
Well, you know that some of my hair is gray, but the rest of it is kind of dark brown, right? So what I'm saying is when you're bleaching my hair blonde, it turns red first. So it got red and brassy and nasty. So it wasn't really pretty. It wasn't like Ric Flair's hair. You know, it was like screwed up hair. So then I bought gowns and trunks for Gorgeous George, my new gimmick. And then Randy took it to the powers that be in the WCW, and I got a contract. And Randy gave me instructions to work out like a maniac and tan myself and keep bleaching my hair. And I was going to get my big chance. So I worked out. I tanned. I bleached my hair. As a matter of fact, if you get the new U-shoot is coming out, I think next week or I can't remember when it's coming out. But they're going to probably have a picture of me with blonde hair as Gorgeous George.
Okay.
So I'm tanning and I'm training and I'm saying my prayers, eating my vitamins, all that crap, you know. And then every time Randy would see me, he'd make me take my shirt off to see if I was working out. And but the weeks would go by, and then the months would go by, and my phone number rang. So then the next thing you know, not only the days went by and the years went by, but do they want me or not? So what happened was, for 2 years later, I bleached my hair so much that it was starting to fall out. So I didn't know what to do, so I had to keep my gimmick just in case they needed me. But when you say you're Gorgeous George, and it turns out you look like the Scarecrow on The Wizard of Oz, like you just it was real bad. It was not pretty. So what happened is, the years went by. I never got my big chance, and I was sorry because I really wanted to, and but in all honesty, my hair was so bad. I don't think I would have gotten away with it. It was like as Gorgeous George. It would just look, because that's a tough gimmick to live up to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's been a lot of blondes, and what's so special about me? But you see, in those days there was a lot of bookers. They had a lot of. Did you know that there was not just one booker?
Mhm.
In WCW, one of them was Mike Graham, and he eventually committed suicide. So that was his finish. And but there had a lot of people. I don't know who they were, but evidently somebody didn't want me in there. And all it takes is one guy, and then you're not in. But it was a big disappointment for me. I felt like a leech on the company, and I don't like to feel that way.
If they had actually called you, what would you have seen yourself doing in WCW at the time? I mean, would you have been like a member of the NWO or?
Oh no, I would have gone in as just as Gorgeous George, and then the music, and then the gowns, and then the wrestling, and would I have gotten over? I don't know. You see, back then, you see something, and then you wouldn't see it anymore. Like they would never follow through with anything. Remember?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
Like they would start a program and then they would end it. So what makes you think they wouldn't have done that to me?
That's true.
It is. I want to ask you too, Lanny. If Randy was still alive today, if Randy Savage was still alive, do you feel he would accept the call to go into the WWE Hall of Fame at this point?
Probably not. He really enjoyed not being in it. He loved not being in it. That was like his. He was a maverick rebel, and he actually, you have to admit, he was more famous for not being in it than he ever was for getting in. Because everybody was talking about, oh my God, how can you not have? There were two guys that needed to be in the Hall of Fame, Bruno Sammartino and the Macho Man. But it was kind of sad that Bruno got in when all his fans were dead, and then Randy got in when he was dead. It's,
yeah, that is true. It is real sad.
But I mean, you should get in like recently after you quit wrestling. But anyway, the main thing is, I think everybody there had a good time. It wasn't. It was a good night of. It was a good night of long ass speeches.
Well, out of all the speeches, what speech did you enjoy the most, and what speech did you least enjoy?
I'm going to say the speech that I enjoyed the most was the Bushwhackers. Okay, because that was funny. And also, I liked Arnold Schwarzenegger, and let's see. I would say I liked Alundra Blaze, but she went too long. You know, and of course everything to do with Connor, that was great too, but it was too long. You understand when it's too long, man? Can't you just get the hell out? Just say
you can say what you want on here. You can use that phone.
Okay, have a good beginning and a good ending, and put the two as close together as you can, and get the fuck out. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, because you're kind of like, let's say I was going to go first. Well, I would, out of respect to the other people that were going to go after me, I would cut it a little short, so we could, so we could all get home before the sun came up. You know, but I don't know. It's kind of like, I think it's a little rude and disrespectful to the other talent that's coming on after you. That's why, I'm proud of the fact that I only went 8 minutes, and 3 minutes of that was the fans, Randy Savage, and I couldn't start talking over that because it's like it's counterproductive. But didn't you think the Bushwhackers were great?
I did. I really enjoyed it. What do you think, NFC Game Boy and Shannon Toph?
Well, I enjoyed it myself. I mean, it was straight to the point, and it was very genuine, and that's the most important part. Is that it's genuine and it's from the heart.
And Roddy Piper came out there in his march, and that was great. And DiBiase came, with the New Zealand march. Of course, I've been to New Zealand, and I didn't see anybody acting like that. It's like, there aren't any bushwhackers in New Zealand. They're all civilized people. It's ridiculous. But, I mean, it's comedy. But, no, they were great, and I love Arnold. And I thought I'm really a fan of Nash, but by the time he got out there, it was like midnight, So actually, people are telling me, don't you think Randy should have gone on last? I said, well, God, I was tired when I went out there. If it was an hour later, I'd really be tired. I wish I had gone earlier, because I was a little bit more chipper. I was a little past my bedtime.
Well, there are reports, Lanny, and I'm going to say this and turn it over to Toph. There are reports, Lanny, of how people backstage weren't happy with Alundra Blaze's speech, was using certain words, and wasn't happy with Nash and Shawn Michaels saying certain words like strap or the word wrestler strap pertaining to the title. Can you confirm any of that? Did you see anything like that happening backstage?
Well, why were they mad at Alundra Blaze?
Just
because she went too long.
Yeah, he said she went too long. Some of the references she was using, they weren't too happy with it.
I think she used some vulgarity, didn't she?
They did, but it was like when I saw it, it was edited. So I don't know anybody who saw the live stream because they probably had like the delay, just like the Ultimate Warrior last year. He had a couple of words that were edited too, and I saw that one live.
Well, I think I think what's his name, Jake the Snake said masturbating people's emotions last year.
Okay.
And remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you remember that? Yeah.
I just don't think, if it's going to be PG, I think we should all. I mean, I wasn't about to use a bad word. I was not about to do that. But I know. See, the thing is, I don't know. I wasn't in the gorilla position except when I was about to go out. So I don't know what Vince was thinking about each individual. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But I don't know what goes. Since I know Vince, he's not shy about offering his contempt for whatever he just saw. But maybe they would have done better to tell us, okay, you can't go over 10 minutes. You know, and everybody has to obey that. Or
right.
We're going to play the music and get the hook, you know?
Okay. So?
Yeah, my last question for you, Mr. Poffo, is it was great that your brother Rennie Savage is finally in the Hall of Fame. But for years, that was kind of the guy. A lot of fans, kept saying, how come Macho Man's not in? In your personal opinion, is there anyone else who you think is long overdue to be in the Hall of Fame and
yes,
is not currently in?
Okay, yes, I do. His name is Johnny Valentine. He is the father of Greg the Hammer Valentine, who is in the Hall of Fame. Johnny Valentine was one of the greatest talents I've ever seen, and nobody knows that except me. I feel like, Ric Flair knows it, but you know what I mean? It's like there's getting to be fewer and fewer. Randy knew it. Johnny Valentine, Greg's father, he deserves to be in the goddamn Hall of Fame. Otherwise, there shouldn't be a Hall of Fame. And also, I would like to see Curtis Iakea in the Hall of Fame. You know him?
Yes.
Okay, he's a great interview, and from Hawaii. He died about 6-7 years ago. Also, Pampero Firpo. He should be in the Hall of Fame. But, sometimes these are older guys, right? And I think King Kong Bundy, why isn't he in the Hall of Fame? Don't you think he should be in the Hall of Fame?
I think so.
Yeah.
He was a main event in WrestleMania 2. And he was a villain. And I think Kamala should go in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Definitely. Right or wrong?
You're right. I agree. And we all agree that.
And now he's got diabetes and he's lost his legs and everything. So Kamala should be in the Hall of Fame because he was a big star and made an impact on this business and had a hell of a gimmick. And let me see. There's more. You could go up and down the, let's see.
Even your dad. What about your dad by himself?
Listen, I'm not going to open up that kettle of fish, okay?
Okay.
We already know what happened with that. My brother insisted that he wouldn't go in without my, as a Poffo family. Well, evidently that is not going to happen. So I'm just trying to answer your question, you know what I mean, that there are other people that have been slighted. For example, you know what? I can't think of any more, but I'm sure you could figure it out. There are a lot of people there's a lot of people that deserve to be in this Hall of Fame. How about Moondog Lonnie Main? Remember him?
Yes, I've heard of him. Yeah, I've heard of his name. I've seen him.
Yeah, he was a pretty big deal.
For me, one person I've always thought should be in the Hall of Fame. A lot of fans like to joke about the celebrity wing and what they have or haven't contributed to the business, but I've always thought that the legendary actor Andy Kaufman should be in the Hall of Fame. I think the stuff he did with Jerry was before his time. It would work great today.
I agree 100%. That was a great moment in this business and a crossover moment. And it made a star out of Jerry Lawler. I mean, he was already a star, but it made him worldwide.
Right.
And let's
see. Lena Vachon?
What's that?
So a fan just Facebooked me and said, what about Lena Vachon?
What about Mad Dog Vachon?
Yes, Leah Mad Dog, yep.
What about the Vachon family? Butcher, Mad Dog, and Luna.
I thought Mad Dog was already inducted.
Was he? I don't know that. Is it true?
I'm not sure. I got to look that one up.
Yeah, we can find that out for you.
I remember infamously with Mad Dog Vachon that Diesel accidentally pulled the wrong leg at a match one time.
Yes, Mad Dog Vachon was inducted in 2010.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, but just not Luna or like you said, not nobody else in the Vachon family. Just Mad Dog was inducted.
No, I think Luna died the same year.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. The most glaring omission is Johnny Valentine, and I think if you told Ric Flair I said that, he would agree.
Yeah, so if you do that.
And if you told Blackjack Mulligan I said that, he would agree. There's only a few people that know what I know. You know, and trust me, guys, if you would have seen him, you would have agreed. This guy was something special. Not that Greg isn't. Greg is too. But Johnny was in a class alone. It's just that, you know, it was back in the territories, so you couldn't get worldwide exposure, you know, unless you went all over the world.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
real quick, Glenn. I know time is running short. We're gonna let you go in a second. I got a couple, two fans want to speak to you real quick and ask you a question. Bringing in now, area code 347, Sherwin. Sherwin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. How you doing, man?
Doing good. You here live with Lanny Poffo. You have a question for him?
Oh, not a question. Just basically, I'm just very happy that Landy got into the Hall of Fame because how you doing, Lanny? I'm a buddy of Miss Evan and Evan Ginsberg, and a while back, when your brother was up and around him and Crush, I met them at FYI, and he autographed his hip hop album.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, me being a stand-up comedian and actor, you know, I know you've heard millions and millions of guys do your brother's voice, but you know, when I did meet him, you know, a kid was doing his voice beforehand, and I said, yeah, that kid does your voice really good. But I do it a whole lot better, yeah. And your brother looked at me and he said, you know, I've heard a lot of people do my voice, but you got it. And, you know, him and Crush are really cool. And I'm just happy that they're in. I'm looking forward to you getting in the Hall of Fame. You deserve to be in there as well.
Here's the deal, man. I'm going to be real plain with you.
Go right ahead, yeah.
Yeah, don't hold your breath because my little brother is not quite up to snuff with this bullshit.
I know you might not be, Lanny, but I do believe that you and Daddy belong in there too, my friend. Yeah. Sherwin XL said so because I call myself Black Madness. Yeah.
The whole fucking thing is political. You understand what I'm saying?
I dig it, genius. Yeah.
It's about favor, not merit. It's about favor, not merit.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, either which way, Lanny, all I got to say is I am very, very happy. I want to say this. Being a wrestling fan, I thank you for your contributions. You know, I love you, bro. I love Warrior, and I'm happy they're in there. But I would love to see you in there myself. That's just me.
Well, if the day came where I had to do that, I'd promise a very short speech so you could all get home.
Okay.
Not gonna drone on and on about bullshit that isn't important. You know, because I get right to the point. Get the hell off the stage.
I got you. All right, guys. Lanny, you know,
man.
Honor talking to you guys. It's been a while. Of course.
Sure.
That was a hell of an imitation of Randy you just gave me. Thank you so much.
Man, listen, he said the same thing. He looked at me and was like, I've heard a million of them, but damn, you got it. And I told you. You know, I appreciate the Poffo family. I appreciate your brother, and I appreciate you, bro.
Otherwise, it's going to be real bad for you.
I got it.
Take care, man.
And I will continue the mega powers. Yeah. Take care, guys. Take care, Lenny.
All right, thank you.
All right, Evan, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Freak out.
Hey, this is our good old buddy Sherwin, a good old buddy from New York, stand-up comedian. Bringing one more caller. Cheeky, you there?
Yes.
Hey, buddy, you on live with Lanny?
What shooters or hookers did you encounter when you first starting to break into the wrestling business?
What shooters or hookers?
Yeah, that tried to rough you up, like on the ground, or tried to take advantage of you when you were first starting to wrestle.
Wow, let me see. Well, I wrestled Lou Fez, but he was always nice. You understand? But, of course, if I had done something wrong or if he didn't like me, I'm sure he could have taken care of me easily, right? So,
yeah.
I never really had any trouble. I'm not saying everybody liked me, but nobody disliked me. That's a little rude to people take advantage of somebody in the ring. It's supposed to be entertainment, but some people took it seriously. But I was lucky; nobody ever roughed me up, and I promise you, I never roughed up anybody up either. I just tried to make the fans happy, and that's it.
Well, thanks a lot, Cheeky. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Sure, go ahead, Sean.
Lanny was talking about how people should make quicker speeches in the Hall of Fame, but I do remember in 2008, Nature Boy Ric Flair he had like an hour-long speech in the Hall of Fame. What was your opinion on that, Lanny?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It is true.
You know what? I didn't see that speech, but I know the Ultimate Warrior had a long-ass speech, but then he died right after.
God. Okay.
And then, of course, Mr. T had a hell of a speech. And I was able to use that as my big joke,
You like that speech?
What's that?
You like that speech?
Well, in a way, I liked it because it's like a speech is supposed to have a purpose, and if you love your mother, say so. I mean, it went a little long, but then when I said in my speech, I said, Randy loved the athletes of the Special Olympics like Mr. T loves his mother. Everybody got the joke. You know what I mean? It's like that thing was 1 year ago. Everybody still remembered it. Well, a lot of the speeches you don't remember a year later, but you remember Mr. T's. That's got to be a good thing, right?
I guess so. I hated that speech, though.
Well, at least you remember what it was about. He loves his mother. I think he made that clear.
Oh, yes.
It's true. Another question. Of course, Jay Lethal, current Ring of Honor superstar. Of course, he wrestled in TNA and did another great impression of your brother, the late Randy Savage. Lanny Poffo, what was your thoughts of Jay Lethal doing your brother's impersonation and him talking to him?
I enjoyed it, and Randy enjoyed it too. So if Randy liked it, who am I to say differently?
I'm sure. Now, Landy, did you get to watch the video of Lanny Poffo? Not Lanny Poffo, I'm sorry, of Jay Lethal doing the imitation with Ric Flair on TNA?
Yeah, I saw that too.
What was your thoughts on that? I know it's a lot of our fans' favorite.
Well, I'll tell you what, I wish I could do it. I can't make even the noise. I can't even do that. Whoa! Whoa! Hey, maybe if I practiced.
Owl?
You sound like an owl. Definitely is. Real quick, Landy, we thank you much for your time. Of course, you've always been a good supporter of the show. Of course, we've always supported you. If you can't give your mom a hug for us, tell her we are praying for her and thinking about her much.
Well,
actually,
thank you so much.
Actually, one more thing, if I could.
Yeah. Sure.
Lanny, I hate to ask a lyricist on the spot, but can you make a poem or in a style of freestyling about Under the Mat Radio on the spot?
Probably not, guys. I tell you what, I'm a little. I don't freestyle. You see what I mean? I have to think it over and then come up with stuff. But let's see, Under the Mat Radio, is that what you guys are called?
Yes.
No, sorry guys, it wouldn't do it justice.
That's fine.
I apologize.
That's fine,
man. That's fine.
That's fine. But you know what? Whenever you have time, we'll be on it. Whenever you have time or you can, we'll be on it to have a special poem from you. We do appreciate
it. Okay, excellent, guys.
That's it. That is fine. But anything you need to anything you want to plug or promote, anything, any next appearances while you on?
Yes, geniuslannypoffo.com. And that's my website. And just you guys, thanks for all your support, and thanks for
no problem, man.
Thanks for enjoying the fact that the Macho Man's in the Hall of Fame. Ooh, yeah.
Yes, we definitely do. Lanny, you're always a great guest, and we'll definitely be chatting soon.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, thank you. Everybody, that was the great Lanny Poffo, known as the Genius and also known as Leaping Lanny Poffo. Thank you very much for coming on to the show. Always a great supporter of Under the Mat Radio, everything that we do. NSC Game Boy, real quick, your thoughts on
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was great, you know what I mean? And I'm glad he got a chance to give us the insight, you know, of how he was feeling. And, you know, Lanny's been on the show many times, and it was a ball.
Yes, and to let everybody know that's listening that Lanny Poffo asked us to be on the show after WrestleMania. Said he would have loved to come on to the show after Mania, inducting his brother to the Hall of Fame and talk about it. So we thank him very much for taking time out his schedule, and also, of course, promoting his upcoming DVDs on Kayfabe Commentaries. Just to let everybody know that next week, ironically, we will have here live on Under the Mat Radio, starting the show off with Sean Oliver, who is the owner and, of course, the public figure for Kayfabe Commentaries, one of the biggest wrestling companies of wrestling shoots. They're known for their youth shoots. They're remembering going back in the territories. They do their timelines where they have wrestlers sit down, depending on Vader. They have Vader sit down and talk about WCW in the year 1993, so forth and so on. So Kayfabe Commentaries will be joining us live next week on Under the Mat Radio, and I'm sure they'll be able to give out more details on the newest youth shoots they did with Lanny Poffo. Toph, your thoughts on the recent interview with Lanny?
I thought it was pretty neat. I've always been a fan of his work, and I've always seen videos of him before, and he just always seems like a well-spoken guy. He's pretty cool.
Yes, yeah, he is. Very good guy. Shinblade?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I had a question that pertained to him that I could have asked him who was his favorite wrestler he ever managed. I mean, I guess my thought would be Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
I used to love that combination.
Yeah. That is something too. And you know, with us speaking to Lanny off air, you know, he has so many stories and so much to talk about for his career. A lot of people, and we'll bring him on, of course, down the line, and we can talk more detail about his career specifically of wrestling for the IWC, which was the company that his father, Angelo Poffo, the late Angelo Poffo, started.
ICW Tech.
ICW, I'm sorry. ICW, I apologize for that.
You wrestled for the Internet Wrestling community?
No, he didn't. But fans, you understand. I mean, his father did started that company back in the day, and it was a very great company, very great territory, which a lot of great and famous stars, a lot of former WWE Hall of Famers started back then with the Poffo family as well. And then, of course, his work in WWE and all over the world. And ICW was rival to Jerry Lawler's company as well. Either Jerry Lawler or Jerry Jarrett's company, the USWA. They had a big rivalry. Jerry Jarrett. Yeah, Jerry Jarrett.
Yeah.
Yes, that is true. with that, we'll have everyone here. Do you think Lanny Poffo coming on? Now, this, of course, is our discussion segment, which we have a lot of news, a lot of things to cover, and a couple of fans said they wanted to call in and discuss their thoughts on Monday Night Raw, as well as some recent happenings on Lucha Underground, as always. First, of course, one of the big news, of course, over the week, AJ Lee resigned from her time in WWE. She will no longer be working there. And there's been speculations of her, air quote, being pregnant. I definitely can attest to a couple of inside sources that I've spoken to throughout the week that it's kind of legit that she's pregnant, because I know some sources within WWE that has ties when they try to contact AJ Lee or even sent congrats to her being pregnant. CM Punk ended up deleting or blocking them from Twitter and ended up not being too nice towards him. So I wanted to ask the panel, where I got NFC Game Boy, Shin, and Toph, what are your thoughts on AJ Lee resigning from WWE and her, air quote, pregnancy news?
Well, I can say I was one of the first people to actually put it up, and a lot of people wanted to know the source. And I can tell you now that you know, we have the same source, and yes, it is a very credible source. It's one of those things. It's wrestling and rumors is like peanut butter and jelly. It goes hand in hand. She, had her time in the business. AJ Lee wasn't known for being a spectacular wrestler. I think she was a great entertainer. I know about some of her pipe bomb things were, pretty cool for the division, the Diva division is now. But, I never really looked at her as like, this big, great diva superstar like everybody else is. She was kind of like a rebel of her own. Congratulations to her, and for her, finally retiring and finding a new niche. I know myself and Under the Mat, we all wish her the best in her success. Her husband is still one of my all-time favorite wrestlers and performers. But other than that, that's pretty much it.
So.
Yeah, I'm going to plead the fifth. I don't want to get any more death threats from the AJ Lee fans. So, yeah.
Well, no, you here. You spread the word, brother.
It's already spread.
Let it on out.
Oh, okay. Well, if you get any death threats, then don't blame me, because I warned you. I've gotten death threats from like 5 different people that live in their mom's basements and stuff. So, if I did a list of top 25 overrated performers, she would be like on top 5, right next to her husband. She's like completely overrated and overhyped, and I never cared for her. I watched the NXT season, the one that sucked with the Divas, back when NXT sucked, and at that point, Naomi was the best female on that show. She was better in the ring. She was better in promos. She had a better look. Yeah, for whatever reason, Caitlyn won. Nothing against Caitlyn. She's cool too, but Naomi was the best person on that show. Caitlyn won. She got called to the main roster first. AJ got called to the roster afterwards, and then when Naomi finally did get called, she was given shucking and jiving, cheerleading, to call your mama, whatever, BS. AJ Lee, all her matches were like the same. She would get beat up, put you in the black octopus, whatever, and then she would end up winning. Her offense was completely unbelievable, because how can you make me believe this small girl the size of a 5th grader can make a girl that has muscles tap out? Just do a Samoan drop or just turn it into a roll-up. Like, nothing about her was believable to me. What I hated the most about AJ was I hated this idea that she was the first crazy chick. And for me, AJ Lee fans, and we're all older here, but AJ Lee fans for me was a sign of a clear generation gap. AJ Lee fans reminded me that as a fan, I'm getting old. Off the top of my head, I can think of 5 different female performers, all of whom were crazy, all of whom did it better than AJ. Sensational Sherry was crazy, Luna Fashawn was crazy, Victoria was crazy, Mickie James was crazy, Daphne was crazy. Out of those 5 chicks I just said, 4 of them came from WWE. That just shows you WWE's reliance on crazy chicks because they can't get off their ass and make a more interesting character. AJ Lee was not even anywhere as good as any of those chicks I just said. Yet fans were acting like she was the first crazy chick, which just clearly shows you the generation gap. But I'm ranting and stuff. So to end this, what I will do is I'll give her a positive. AJ Lee did realize that no one took the Divas division seriously. She realized that no one cared about the Divas division. So in her own way, she tried to bring attention to it. The problem with AJ, though, was she became a liability to the division, like, Total Divas. Everyone knows about the Total Divas show. Everybody remembers WrestleMania 29. They were going to have that mixed tag team match, and, due to time constraints, it got cut. So the stuff they do on Total Divas, that's like how you give divas more time. They don't get enough time on TV, so you give them more time on Total Divas, right? I know you guys may not care about Total Divas, but some of the stuff they do on that show, it carries over to, like, feuds and programs. But the thing is, AJ Lee, she didn't want to be on that show because she saw herself as a wrestler, which is cool. But they started putting every other diva on the show except her, which was just made it even more complicated. And then to make it even more awkward, the show focuses on their personal lives, their boyfriends, their husbands, their family. But you can't put AJ on the show because then you focus on her husband, who is the same guy that basically got on a podcast and told WWE to fuck off. The doctors are suing CM Punk for $1 million. So you mean to tell me if AJ Lee gets injured, the same doctor that's suing her husband $1 million has to heal her? How awkward is that? So you can't use her on Total Divas. Okay, so what can you do? Oh, I know. Let's put her in a wrestling ring. But wait, if you put her in a wrestling ring, the fans just chant CM Punk the whole fucking time. So it's like no matter what you did with this chick, she was a liability to everybody there. And it's like, what a headache, So I'm glad she's gone. She was holding back the entire division because as long as her presence alone was a liability to every single female there. Because if you put her on Total Divas, you're fucked. If you put her on the main roster, you're fucked. No matter what you did with her, and she was just average. Everything about her, like from her look to her in-ring ability to her promos, like everything about her was average. Like there's females that I've seen in the ring, like that I didn't take seriously at first. Then they had like a really good match. I've seen Naomi and Natalya have really good competitive matches like on Main Event and Superstars. I've seen other chicks like Gail Kim, Taryn Terrell, and NXT, people like Sasha Banks, Bayley. I've seen girls that like initially I didn't take seriously, but then, after some time they got better, and I was like, you know what? This chick is really good. The whole time AJ Lee was there, not one time did she ever have a breakout moment where I was like, she's really good, like not once. She's like easily the most overrated talent. She's definitely the most overrated female talent they've had, like, ever. She's more overrated than Trish Stratus. But, I don't want to get any more death threats. Congratulations to her. People are saying, thank you, AJ. I don't know why. I don't like she did anything. She's writing a book. She clearly saved her money. Her merchandise sold, so I'm sure she'll do fine in whatever she decides to do. Hopefully her and her husband can just stay away from wrestling. Just looking at them pisses me off. Good riddance, AJ.
All right. On that note, of course, everybody heard the terror of Toph.
We got to give him his own segment. Toph went in.
This is the terror of Toph. You're terror of Toph.
Yeah, we got to get your own segment. Toph, you just go in.
Hit me, Saltine. By the way, Saltine, want me to let you know, Toph, go ahead in. Don't be afraid. Let the people know how you feel.
That was beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
And you know the worst part? The worst part is the same assholes that chant CM Punk are going to chant AJ Lee now. Idiots.
Yeah, it is.
Idiots.
AJ Lee chants Trinity, WWE Network. They're probably, just because she's related to CM Punk, they're probably going to start meeting those
I will say this, though. In Toph's defense, I cannot think of one great match that AJ Lee was in. You know how you always got. Yeah, and that's why, you know, I think as an entertainer, as far as like our mic skills, it was all right because of the times. But back in the day, you can always say, oh, Lita had a great match, or even Trish Stratus, you know, oh, she had that great match.
Everything, everything AJ had. Everything AJ had was average. To me, AJ Lee is a prime example of what I call the water in the desert effect. If you're in the desert and you're stranded and you don't have any bottle of water, when you see a puddle, regardless of how diluted it is, it looks delicious. AJ Lee was like the first, because, you know, let's talk about the ruthless aggression where you had divas. You know, like all the divas back then had like different personalities and different genres, you know. Yeah, you know, AJ Lee was like the first diva in years that was interesting. So people talk about how great she is, but it's like none of the other divas were that good anyway. But that's not their fault. That's WWE's fault for not giving them time. And I just feel like when you finally introduce an interesting diva in a division in an era full of time when no one cares about divas, it just makes that one diva that actually has a personality look that much better than everybody else. But if you look past all that, like you just said, none of the matches she had were particularly, like, you know, spectacular. And I feel like at a certain point, fans only liked her because she was CM Punk's girlfriend and later wife. I feel like AJ Lee is a trophy wife. She's that girl that the popular guy dates, and everyone knows that. You know who she is? She's Jennifer Love Hewitt off that Can't Hardly Wait movie. That's who she is. She even looks like Jennifer Love Hewitt.
That movie never happened.
What movie?
Yeah, that movie never happened. I know what movie
I'm not familiar with the movie.
Shin, you're a movie buff. Do you know about that movie?
Yeah, Shin, you probably seen it.
Yeah, Shin's one of our movie buffs.
I actually watched
it. Shin hasn't even watched it, but I've heard of the movie, but I understand So's point of view.
I mean, it's just one of those high school movies that, you know, if you like high school movies, then that's one movie to watch. But I was the movie I liked was called She's All That, so I thought it was funny.
Shout out to the only black dude in the movies.
Yeah, shout out to that one. Yeah, shout out to
Dule Hill.
Yeah, Dule Hill. Shout out to you, the only black guy in that movie. Shimbley, your thoughts on AJ Lee and her retirement and pregnancy?
Well, three things.
Mic skills.
Three things. One, Toph took the time. Two, wish her well. I don't want to hear about the pregnancy and all that stuff. If it ever was true, she left on her own terms. And Toph, you're fired because you gave a lot of Toph rage. No, I'm joking. But no, I personally could care less. I mean, not to say I discount AJ Lee. It's just the fact that she's been one of my favorite divas as of recent years because she displayed a look that was not diva-ish. And then now we got Paige, who kind of mirrors it. But like I said, I really could care less. I mean, people who talk about pregnancy rumors, or if it's actually true, it's true. If it's not, who gives a crap? Moving on.
Well, Tito's Terror, I'll definitely say that, you know, AJ Lee, like Toe said, is okay. She's not the first crazy chick. Like you said, I grew up with the first crazy chick I remember was Shari, Sensational Shari. You remember her even before WWE brought Lena in. Lena was the first, if I'm right, the first female wrestler to be on the WWE wrestling game for the actual wrestler. Sherry Martel, if you remember her, was crazy. She was the crazy one. Back when she was with Savage or whatnot. And then of course Lena was crazy, and Mickey James, and as like Toe said, you know, if you're dying of starvation and the only thing you have to eat is broccoli, you're gonna think it's the greatest thing, the greatest food in the world until you get introduced to steak or chicken or anything else. So it's kind of like that with AJ Lee. She, like Toe said, she's okay. I'm not going against her athleticism. She wasn't an ugly chick, but that's it. She did the little skip, but everything she did for her gimmick was done a few years before.
She had a little butt.
Yeah, she had like a little butt, yeah. But I mean, and then like Yeah, true.
Actually, I have something I want to say when you get a chance to.
Yeah,
and someone sent me this comment.
Yeah, and it's just like, look at the Divas division the past year or two. There's really no really standouts. I mean, shout out to Beth Phoenix. Beth did a good job. She was actually good, but she's with Edge. She got pregnant. Natalie didn't use it up full potential. After that, who do you really have? So, of course,
she had a
AJ
farting
Shine.
gimmick.
Exactly.
So AJ Lee's just in short. She's just a PG, poor woman's Mickey James with no body.
Exactly.
I feel like, for me, this is how you determine how someone's a star. Like, put someone else in a different era, and if they would still be big, they're a star. Right. I feel like if you put AJ Lee, if you put her in the Attitude Era, if you put her in the Ruthless Aggression Era, she'd just be another diva. That's just how I feel.
Put in the 90s. Put in the 90s in WCW with Medusa and Buonacano and Akira Hokuto and
who does she really have to compete with? Who does she have to compete with? Like, Beth Phoenix was gone, Eve Torres was gone. There were no other stars. The Bellas were stagnant. They dropped the ball on Natalya and Naomi. There's no other divas, So it's like when you have this really popular diva, she just looks better than everybody else. Overrated.
Let NFC Game Boy get his comment out real quick. I know he had a comment. Was it from you, NFC Game Boy, or a fan?
No, actually, a fan had said this to me, and they was wondering why Naomi hasn't had the belt like that and everything. And I told the fan, if you remember Jacqueline back in the 90s, when she was a black female wrestler who was very talented and everything. And I remember the way they did her character and everything. It used to make me angry because you knew she had talent. You knew, she was, aggressive. And she actually, could handle herself. But they never really wanted to give her that shine like that. They did here and there, but they never really gave her that shine. And I feel like they're going to do the same thing to Naomi.
They are.
They just teasing it and teasing it, but she's never going to really get there because they don't want her to have that.
I feel like
at least was a champion.
I feel like a lot of fans are sleeping on Naomi. Like I said, I know those older NXT seasons weren't very good, but I did watch that entire season 3, and I know it's probably on the network. If not, it will be soon. Maybe you can find some clips on YouTube. But during that show, Naomi was the best female talent they had in that particular season, and she didn't win. And she's really good in the ring. Like, she can do, like, split stuff that, like, RVD used to do back in his prime. And he's really good. And it's like when you go on, if you ask the opinion of, the IWC or hardcore wrestling fans, if you ask, hey, man, who's your favorite diva? You hear them talk about Paige and, NXT chicks like Charlotte and Sasha Banks. And, Natalya's good. And it's like no one talks about Naomi. I'm like, why does no one pay attention to this chick? And then I realize, because WWE hasn't given her the opportunity to display how good she is. I mean, despite the fact that Funkadactyls have long since been over, she still has the theme song, and she still dances like they're still going on. I mean, I just feel like WWE is just, sabotaging them.
So, I will say...
Go, Shane.
About Naomi, she did have a teaser run, like, up until WrestleMania 30, and I think she got snubbed like right after when Paige became the champion. But it's true. I mean, for Naomi, it's like the whole Funkadactyls thing. It's just like what everybody says about Roman Reigns. When the Shield broke up, he kept everything that they had. So it's just like she's this happy-go-lucky woman that is going to get the chance but never going to grab it. I mean, personally for me, I like to see her get it, but I feel like if she does get it, they're going to give her a weak run with it.
Yeah. With that being said, we're going to move on to the next topic. We won't take up the whole hour just talking about AJ Lee and her pregnancy and whatnot. If she is pregnant, which the sources I've got from the similar source, and it's a Game Boy got from a couple other people, I believe she is, but hopefully wish her well in their future endeavors. So still burns for them. Other big news.
I was burning.
Scott Steiner threatens, Big Papa Pump, threatens to kill Hulk Hogan. It's been all over the news, been all over websites. It's even hit ESPN, hit Bleacher Report, other websites. Start off with NXT Game Boy. Your thoughts on Big Papa Pump wanting to.
We still talking about this?
Take out. It's breaking news. Scott Steiner
I'm
literally.
gonna say it like this. It smells like a publicity stunt as usual.
Yes.
They got the FBI investigating, and really, you know what I'm saying? This is wrestling we talking about. Excuse me, this is professional wrestling we talking about. And you know they got the little footage of them showing his face. If he shows himself at the arena, he's banned. And they got a comment from him, and he said, you know, it sounds like something he'd do. He's a punk anyway, and you know that's the end. I'm pretty sure that Scott Steiner is not going to go out there and physically kill Hulk Hogan unless it's in the ring or something like that. It's just it smells like a publicity stunt to me. And you know, I saw the article, I looked at it, I chuckled, and I kept moving. So that's my thought on it.
Wait, and it's a Game Boy with his words. My sentiments exactly. I feel it's just a publicity stunt, just a way to get himself, Scott Steiner, back over into the world so people can talk about him. I mean, not that Hogan should care what Scott Steiner says. I mean, let's look at the careers and look at what they're doing. I mean, I've had the privilege to meet Scott Steiner in person and talk to him. Pretty nice guy to me and to my comrades that was there. But like in this Game we said, I feel it's a publicity stunt. Chamblade, your thoughts?
I'm drinking tea. Nothing. Move on.
What does tea have to do with it? Is it Kermit tea?
Yes, it is Kermit tea.
Oh, so yes, you do drink alcohol. All right.
No, it's actually green tea.
That's what Kermit tea means. Is if you drink the Kermit tea, you have alcohol in it.
Well, somebody's an idiot for making that.
Who's an idiot? Oh, anyway, moving on from that. Kermit tea is a sensation. Memes are everywhere. By the way, random fact, it's called memes. It's not memes. To let people know, those pictures.
Some people say memes, too.
Yeah, memes. It's not memes. It's not memes. It's called memes. Please. That's the correct term. Kermit tea is viral everywhere. Toph, your thoughts, of course, on Scott Steiner threatening to kill Hogan. You don't want to kill Hogan.
I'm sure as we speak, he's doing a math professor promo on how he won't get caught and how the numbers don't lie. So.
You know, the only thing, I got to say this, the only thing that I think about with Scott Steiner are two things. One, maybe three. One is the video that I posted months ago where he ranted about his music, the Steiner brothers' music sucking. And something that Tech had showed me, even though I already knew about it, was Scott Steiner and Petey Williams. When Petey Williams was talking about Scott Steiner, that interview. You remember that?
He was hungry. We was hungry.
When he was talking about the interview, and I remember this interview in TNA where he's talking about the bullets and everything. He's like, I'm going to put some bullets in your ass. And he comes around and he's like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this big load up your ass. You know that story from Petey Williams?
Yeah, I definitely do remember that. With that,
I'll post that on page.
Moving on to the other big news, of course, a lot of big news going on is Tough Enough. There will be announced that Tough Enough will be returning in June on the USA Network. NFC Game Boy. What are your thoughts on the return of Tough Enough?
I really don't know. I know Smackdown is also coming back to is coming to USA.
That's news.
Oh, my bad.
Yes.
Oops.
No, that's fine. It all goes together.
I don't really watch Tough Enough and all that back when it was popular or whatever. But congratulations to them, I guess, for trying to get a network deal for it again. The WWE stocks is not really doing too well, so they're trying to put out as many shows as they can in viewership to finalize their deal, because Raw is barely moving. WrestleMania was a somewhat success, but if you look at their stocks and everything, since I actually look in Wall Street a lot, and their stocks is really still not doing that well. So I'm guessing they're doing this to please their shareholders, to let them know, hey, you know, we got all this coming, and, you know, it's whatever. So
I will state, on contrary, Raw, since Mania, Raw's numbers have been improving a little bit. bringing Tough Enough to USA does help out some so people can watch it. Bringing Smackdown to USA does help them out somewhat, which is why they didn't put it on the network, which is a good decision. But also, like you say, overall, stocks-wise, they got to do something better. Definitely. Question is, with all the full kids, do the full kids even remember Tough Enough? That launched such greats as Maven and Jackie Gator and help me out, Toph and Shin. What were some of the other greats? Sarcasm. Maven, Jackie Gator.
John Hennigan.
John Hennigan, Toph.
The Miz, I guess, and Ryback.
That never happened. That 2004 one.
Okay. Josh Matthews.
That was the first season.
Yeah.
And NXT Game Boy, have you ever watched any Tough Enough at all? Even the one with Stone Cold, the latest one.
I remember Maven winning the first one because they did this big old promo, and I think Maven and like a chick won or something like that. I forgot. I was NXT Game Boy was in the streets back then, so it was kind of blurry. But I do remember the little bit of wrestling of that back in that time, as far as Tough Enough, quote unquote. I do remember Maven winning, and he was like really excited, and I think he had a feud with the Undertaker or something like that, and Undertaker was like beat the dog shit out of him, and something like that.
The one I always remember was the second one, because that was where I first saw Kenny King. That was the one where they gave the victory to the two females instead, and they were like, what the fuck? Because it was advertised as one male winner and one female winner, but WWE, they pulled an okie dokie and they gave it to two females instead. And, then Kenny King went to the Independence, Ring of Honor, and now TNA. Really good black talent, and WWE just weren't interested for whatever reason. So that's the one I always remember.
Of course, he's black.
Mm-hmm. Question is, NXT Game Boy, are you tough enough?
Am I tough enough?
Are you tough enough?
Well, it depends on who you ask. I can't answer that. An answer of toughness should come from people around you, not the person. So.
Right, of course.
Am I tough enough, Evan? Am I tough enough, Evan?
I believe so.
Huh?
Oh, okay. All right. There you go.
Well,
see?
Who's Evan?
In certain facets of life, NXT Game Boy is tough enough. No one can be tough enough in all facets of life. Speaking of that, Shinblade, do you feel that do you feel Shinblade is tough enough?
Well, I mean, he has to be. I mean, you guys always talk about the Hawaiian ninjas and stuff. I mean, if ninjas were after me, I'd definitely be tough to survive. So.
I did not mention that once.
Hawaiian. Hashtag Hawaiian ninjas. Moving on. NXT Game Boy is tech tough. Tech tough enough. NXT Game Boy is tech tough enough.
Man, did you hear his voice on the radio? That's tough right there, man. Oh man, that's a tough guy right there, man. Yeah, for 2 hours. Yeah, that's tough.
Speaking of tough, shout out to the men out there in the world that have tender voices. Prayers and thoughts out to you.
Not enough bass.
Yeah, not enough bass in the voice. Shinblade, anybody you want to shout out? We're doing random shout outs real quick before we move on to the next topic. Shinblade, anybody you can think of with the tender voices of the world?
Moving on.
Okay, Shin doesn't want to do that. So Shin doesn't want to participate, we'll mute his mic. Terrence Howard of the world, King Degrees, Toph, anybody famous that you know that have a tender voice?
Yeah, shout out to my boy Tiger.
Oh, Tiger Woods? Yeah. What about the D from Scrubs? What's his name? Faison? What's his name? The black D from Scrubs. He was in that movie. Yeah. Thanks. Babe Mel said it. They Donald Faison. Another guy for tender voice. NXT Game Boy? Anybody else?
I could think of right now. I don't know. I can't really. I don't really remember too many tender voices because I can't hear them.
Well, that being said, we're bringing back in Sherwin XL. Sherwin, you there, buddy?
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, real quick, we're doing shout out. we're doing shout-outs real quick. The men out there in the world that has tender voices that don't sound too manly. So anybody you can nominate?
Mr. Hooper from Sesame Street to the Great Beyond.
Sesame Street. Sanders texted and said Saltine. And that's true. Big Mouth disagreed. Shout out to Saltine.
Silly.
Eric Hughes, foaming at the mouth. Shin had that close encounter. Shin, you're live. Yeah, Shin's alive.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, also moving on, Smackdown's moving to USA. They announced next year. Since Chairman is joining us now, Sherwin, your thoughts on WWE moving SmackDown to USA?
Oh, wow. That just came in? Again? Well, you know, man. You know what it is. I'm always going to be an avid fan of whatever they do because like I from the first interview that I did with you guys from before, my uncle took me to the very first match to see Blackjack Mulligan versus Andre the Giant in the cage match. So that's how far back I go. So I'm always going to be a fan.
Blackjack Mulligan.
Yeah. So I'm gonna still follow it, but. If that's where it's going, that's I'll peek in once in a blue moon. But I think nowadays, if I don't catch it, what I do is I go online and catch what I can catch to keep up and see what's going on. And I heard you guys saying something about AJ. AJ left. She retired. I heard.
Yeah, she retired.
Yeah, she retired. She's pregnant.
A little CM Punk.
With the pipe on, baby. With the baby.
Yeah.
Pipe on, baby.
Yeah, well, who knows? Maybe she'll be back. I don't know. But, but I'm just, I'll tell you one thing. Last week, when Brock went ballistic, I was happy to see that. Because they need more excitement like that, man. I mean, it's almost like, Randy's trying. Randy's trying to pick himself up, but what Brock did was crazy, and my man, Roman, he's stepping up to the plate. He's getting a little bit more vicious. He needs to be a whole lot more vicious, though. He needs to get.
Actually, when you talk about Roman Reigns like that, I mean, nobody said this last week, but the way that Roman Reigns was getting back up after getting beat down by Brock Lesnar, he reminded me of that movie Fight Club.
Oh, yep. Exactly. He's just like, you can't hurt me. He's like, hurt me more. Yeah, it was like Fight Club. You're right. Yeah, because I was just talking to one of my friends. I was talking about how, Cena just dropped to the bottom. After what Brock did to him, man, it was like a Shawshank Redemption thing, man. It was terrible.
Well, everybody talks about the Brock Lesnar thing, but honestly, to tell you the truth, Brock didn't have a Snickers, so that's why you went crazy.
He was hungry, really.
Yeah, he needed Snickers.
Well, they need to keep it away from him a whole lot more. I want to see more of that. Yeah,
if Brock goes off like that, if he doesn't have a Snickers, let's just hope Brock didn't see that meme that you made of him Shin with that tramp stamp. Might get your butt whipped.
Oh well.
Yeah, that was over.
Yeah, I know one thing. You see, and the thing about it is, Heyman's a great talker, and you see, you don't have those guys anymore. You if you remember way back in the days with the Grand Wizard and Classy Freddie Blassie, and Captain Lou Albano and the Grand Wizard, all those guys, from Slick to all those, you don't have any more of those mouthpieces anymore. And I think they're missing. Bobby Heenan, all those cats that were Slick. All those guys are missing. I think
shout out to Reverend Slick.
That's an aspect missing in it too, because I think everything that Vince was talking about, like for instance, you see how miraculously everybody all of a sudden loves Mizdow. That bugged me out because it goes back to what what he was saying. I was looking at a documentary from him. He said, if the crowd doesn't care about the character, it doesn't make any sense. and the crowd all of a sudden now they care about him. Just like they've come to love Daniel Bryan. But he's also,
Speaking of the Miz, Sherwin, Toph, what is your thoughts on the Miz? Since that is actually a popular subject. This saw on a couple of forums today of people talking about the Miz, and does anybody really care about him anymore? Toph, what's your thoughts on the Miz?
I still like him, but it's like it seems to me like the WWE is just like they're squandering him, like because he was the heavyweight champion. You look at Jack Swagger too. Him and Jack Swagger, they were champions, and he just like they used to be like aces and kings. Now they just dropped them down to clubs, and I don't understand that.
Yeah,
it's like you pushed them because nobody was around, and now there's some other guys around. You're just gonna drop them like a hot potato. That's not cool.
Yeah.
But I like what's going on. I like what's going on between him and Miz Dallas. It's pretty cool to see that. But I think Miz, I don't know if you ever get a heavyweight championship or intercontinental or anything again, because everybody is back in place now. And that's another thing. Dolph Ziggler, I don't know what's going to go on with him. Especially now that Sheamus said, like, I'm back to get rid of and break your hopes and dreams, of your heroes or whatever. So the weird that he looks bugged out with that stuff. See, with the mohawk, he looks crazy.
Well, Sheriff thinks of that.
White?
So, what is your thoughts on the Miz and Sheamus's new look, the troll mohawk and the beard thing?
Yeah, he looks crazy, man.
Sheamus looks like Pirates of the Caribbean extra. So shout out to that movie. And
he looks like Pirates of the Caribbean and Zartan with the mohawk.
As far as the Miz goes, some of the worst debates, arguments I've seen have all involved the Miz. You know what I'm talking about? Ever be like, part of a wrestling group on Facebook and you're just talking about a topic and it just gets right out of hand, and Miz is he's definitely the worst. Miz brings the worst out of every wrestling fan I've talked to. So I try my best to avoid the Miz. What I will say is Miz did get the traditional push that a lot of fans just seem to, I don't know if they ignore it or if they just don't care, but Miz, he got the traditional push that fans are craving for. He was a manager, he was a jobber, he was a tag team guy, he had a mid-card title, he won Money in the Bank, and then finally became world champion. So he worked his way up the ladder, just like Brett and Shawn and Rock and Austin and Triple H, all the greats. Just for some reason, fans just kind of don't really care that The Miz did it. I've basically come to the conclusion that The Miz, all of his best work is when he's basically abusing somebody, like when he abused Daniel Bryan, when he abused Alex Riley, and now Damien Sandow. So it definitely seems to me that he has this $1 million man sort of vibe going on where
yes, he does.
He's the most tolerable when he's demeaning somebody.
Yeah, but minus $1 million man, he held his own though.
$1 million man could hold his own. It just seems like Miz can't outside of that type of angle, which in my opinion limits him. As a tag team guy, it works. As a mid-card guy, it works. As a main eventer, that's just where things get out of hand. Like some of the worst debates, some of the worst arguments I've seen all involved in Miz. For me, what made his title reign really hard was like he was the champion. He was the WWE champion, and they were presenting him as the top heel at a time when he really wasn't the top heel, because when he was doing his stitch as the champion, you had CM Punk, you had Wade Barrett, you had Del Rio. There were a lot of good heels at the time, and to say that Miz was the best of them was arguable. He's a good worker, though. He does a lot of media stuff. But yeah, man, Miz, he's just one of those. He's one of those weird things, man. It's hard to talk about him.
Yeah. Not to cut you guys off. We got to go on to we got a couple more callers, so we got to bring them on in. Sherman, thanks.
Okay, no
I'm gonna go
doubt.
ahead and mute
Let me
you.
just say one thing before. Yeah, let me just say one thing before I jump. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, real quick.
Okay. For the female division, I would love to see Karma back. She would amp it up. Karma needs to come back because right now, she always said she would come back when the Bellas were on top. This would be a perfect time for her to come back and scare the living crap out of her, because she's dope. She's dope.
Yeah, well, you agree with that. I'm going to go ahead and mute you now, Sherman. Thanks.
All right, guys. Take care, man.
Yeah, take care, man.
Thanks, man.
All right, take care. Thanks.
With that, going to bring in real quick. Saltine, I know you had a couple of discussions real quick about Raw, so go ahead, buddy.
You someone ass is going to get whipped, because who in the hell say my voice is tender? Who are you fans? Come on, pop out somewhere, damn it. I'm just kidding with y'all. What's up,
Pop
guys?
on the kettle.
What's up, fellas?
What's going on, man? How you living?
I'm fine. So what do you want me to talk about?
Say, Saltine, repeat that again about someone saying your voice was a little tender.
Yeah, I don't know tender voice. Who said that? Come on, pop out. Even tweet me, Dago. Moneymaker EH.
Pause,
come on,
brother.
who's the fame? Damn it.
Pause. You said pop out.
Okay. Well, Saltine,
hell no.
Fans are over that feel you have a tender voice, but it's all good. They're talking about you, brother.
I know. I'm
it's all
good
good.
with them.
It's like a racist.
It's all good. Saltine, you had a couple of things you wanted to discuss about Raw quickly.
Okay, we seen the Troll Man came out last night. He looked like a character off of the Mortal game. You already know. And secondly, how many fucking times we gonna see Roman Reigns and Big Show and Randy Orton and Kane? Come on. I'm like, this is last July shit. Really last year stuff all over again. I'm like, think you want to see something else? Because like, yes, come on. I want to see another match, but you get that shit again. You're like, oh, damn.
That is a good point.
Yes.
NXT Capable, your thoughts on that?
Yo, I can't believe I found a wrestler currently in the WWE who got less moves than John Cena. Yo, I think, did Roman Reigns do the Superman punch like 10 times in that? Raw? Like that's the only offensive move I've seen him do besides the spear at the end. He just kept Superman punching him. I'm like, are you serious? This is all he has?
What about the apron kick?
Did he even do that last night?
I thought it was one of his moves.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, he has less moves than John Cena. And it's like, it's incredible because you can kind of see Big Show laughing while he was getting hit. And of course, he's trying to knock him down, so he keep repeatedly doing it. And it looks redundant because it's not really showing you how strong he is. It's just really showing you how weak the move is. I think that if he's going to do that move, he should do that move, to really set up something else. But he does it so much now, it's really just becoming like non-existent, like his character. So to me, yes, I have to agree. I think the Big Show and Roman Reigns and Kane and Orton, it's just, oh man, it's terrible. It's really bad.
Saltine, anything else you want to cover about Raw?
Oh yeah, you forgot. Wait a minute.
Lucha Underground and Impact. Go ahead.
Well, something else you forgot. John Cena got one more move in his arsenal. He got the springboard stunner now. Uh-oh. He's adding more moves.
Wait a minute. Isn't that the lethal injection by Jay Lethal?
Well, it's just like a handspring diamond cutter.
Yeah.
Ghetto Tony's on the phone?
No, he's not. Lethal injection is more like the handspring diamond cutter instead of the springboard stunner. But it looks weird for Cena to do since how his body type doesn't look right doing that move.
Yeah. At first, I thought he was going to fall off the rope at WrestleMania. At first, I said, he's going to slip off that rope. Oh, and he did. I was like, what the fuck? What, you trying to get Stone Cold? Fans now? Oh, okay. I said, okay. Whatever.
All right. Wipe your mouth a little bit.
Yeah, why don't you foaming at the mouth, Saltine? Done that before. Well, on that note, Saltine, thanks for calling in, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Maybe that was Saltine, hashtag Saltine's Chili. NXT Game Boy, Toph,
Saltine Rage.
Blade. Yeah, Saltine Rage. For the next 3 minutes, any other news you have or want to discuss for Impact, Lucha Underground, even Global Force now, they're starting to try to sign some talents for their tapings in Las Vegas.
Well, I will say Lucha, wow. I finally got a chance to watch it. And I didn't see that coming. I don't understand why the WWE don't think that Lucha Underground is a serious problem. Even though it's a television show and, you know, they do this thing a little differently, they present themselves so much of what you think wrestling should be in the modern era with the digital era and everything. And, wow, I was really blown away. I finally caught up. I don't want to go too much in detail with it, but I just want to say, if you ain't watching Lucha, you ain't watching wrestling.
No, definitely agree with that. Shinblade, I know Shinblade is the ambassador for us for Lucha, the Lucha ambassador for Lucha Underground. I know Toph definitely takes care of a lot of the New Japan and Impact news. Quickly, Shinblade, any more thoughts on Lucha Underground?
One word, kill shot.
Like that. Toph?
Yeah, shout outs to the Mac, great talent. And basically what's going on is Daniel Bryan is trying to lobby a match against Shinsuke Nakamura, the current IWGP Intercontinental Champion, one of the best wrestlers in the world. And basically at some point in the year, WWE is going to be going over to Japan for tour. They don't go over there that much, and Daniel Bryan is trying to negotiate something with their network. New Japan has a network, WWE has a network, and they're trying to have a match where Daniel Bryan can go over there and wrestle Shinsuke, and basically where it would be, on their network and WWE network, it would be a win-win. Win for the fans, win for Japan, win for America, IC champion versus IC champion, but that will require common sense, which WWE doesn't have, so, oh well.
Yes. With that being said, real quick, we have 10 more minutes left, 10 more minutes. Of course, want to give our little promos and want to go ahead and give plugs. Please don't forget, all fans in the area, Jim Ross, good old JR himself, will be appearing here in Baltimore, Maryland, May the 16th at Rams Head Live, is titled Ringside, an Evening with Jim Ross. This is on May 16th. On a Saturday, 7 p.m. is at Rams Head Live. We will send a link on our Facebook page, like page, and group page. You can get the tickets. Are available currently right now on Ticketfly, which has a Facebook page too.com. So we will post up all the information on this page. You'll be able to meet Jim Ross, who will be giving a no-holds-barred Q&A session and stories of the road and his wacky career in the business starting all the way back in the 1970s. So please come to this event if you can. Tickets are still available. Under the Mask Radio will be there. We'll be doing exclusive work with Mr. Jim Ross after the event. If you want to come earlier to meet Jim Ross and meet us, NXT Game Boy, Tech, and Shinblade, you can do so as well. Toph, will you be able to make the trip?
When will this trip be?
May 16th.
I'll let you know about it.
Hopefully everybody will be able to meet Toph. But Light Skin Ross, LSR Security, should be there. Of course, others. If you have any questions, please contact Under the Match Radio on our Facebook page. Send us an email at underthematchradio@gmail.com. Jim Ross is very excited to come to Baltimore once again and is very excited to do work with us as well. So please show up to this event. Also coming up is a new wrestling promotion based in Pennsylvania. It's called Battlefield Pro Wrestling. It will be featuring our good old buddy, Big Gene Snitsky. He will be one of the talents. It will be also featuring former WWE superstar Carlito will be there as well. Please follow Gene Snitsky on Twitter at Big Gene Snitsky. Please follow that as well. Alistar just sent a Facebook message, and he says hello and yerp. Says how he cannot talk. Also, so you want to promote, this Saturday we'll be at PPW with Rod City. Under the Mat Radio will be there as well. We'll give more information on that great event this Saturday, this coming week on our page. NSC Game Boy, any plugs you want to give?
Finally, the Hood Slam videos are out from my Under the Mat band in Oakland, California. NSC Game Boy got a chance to interview some of the performers of Hood Slam. Great show. You can check them out at birdswillfly.com. That's birdswillfly.com. That is the website. Don't ask me why, because when I asked them, it was a long story. But they kept it short, and I don't remember. Anyway, check out the interviews and stuff. Some of the great performers. Make sure you got your bong or whatever thing that you use to go ahead and get high watching it, because these boys, they definitely go at it. So that's pretty much the only plug I think I need. And, yeah, that's about it.
Also, via voice text, Lightskin Ross this text, he will be there at the Jim Ross. So you'll be able to meet LSR. Please, fans, remember, LSR does not speak. So any words that he has to say, he'll pretty much write them down or send us preconceived answers. This Saturday, PPW, Power Pro Wrestling, is April the 11th. The title called PPW Anarchy in April. This will be held at Milford, Delaware, the Milford Boys and Girls Club. Ring time is at 7 p.m. You'll be able to see Ring of Honor stars such as Moose, and you will also see the current Ring of Honor World Champion, Jay Briscoe, and you'll also see his brother, Mark Briscoe. Also, you'll see other Ring of Honor stars such as Jay Diesel. You'll see other stars such as Skull from ACW, Brandon Mercury, Mad to Wild from Riot City, Jimmy Dream, Vic Ramone, Michael Lands, Jason Seif, Michael Zamedio. If anybody remembers Michael Zamedio, here's the guy we've done interviews with split personality.
Don't forget Lars Matson.
Yes. Say that again, Chen?
Don't forget Lars Matson, his manager.
Yes, Lars Matson will be there as well. So you can meet us under the Mat Radio. I will be there. NSC Game Boy will be there. LSR, Saltine, Eric Hughes, Shinblade won't be able to make it this weekend. He's away for other business for the show. But Shinblade, you will be missed, brother.
No,
we'll be doing the shy hands. Definitely.
Actually, I will say this though. The new road trip video will be coming out tomorrow. I apologize. I usually get them out Monday or Tuesday. I've been under a lot of stress, a lot of work, to the point where I'm nursing a headache today. The last road trip video, it was very, very long, and I was trying to find tools to edit. So from this moment forward, I'll try to keep them as short as I can, under like 20 minutes, because actually from the last one that you will see that will come up, you might want to play a drinking game when it comes to the random text.
Yes.
I had to do a count. And NSC Groans?
Yes, the NSC Groans. Yes, drinking games for that. NSC Game Boy does groan a lot. We'll definitely leave that alone. For us, as long as 30 seconds real quick. We have General T Storm, 30 seconds. Go ahead, brother. Say what you need to say.
All right, HCW. It's coming out, boys. But there's something I need to talk about real quick. That is Prodigy. He has put his hands on Andy Weinberg at Kinder, Maryland, as you guys saw. On Facebook, I've been going back and forth with that man a million times, and I told him, you are never allowed to put your hands on a man like Andy Weinberg. I told him, I don't stand for that. Nobody touches family. I know how it is. Nobody should be putting hands on anybody. Prodigy.
You definitely agree with that.
Listening?
10 seconds. 10 seconds.
All right.
Keep going. Thankfully. We definitely agree with that. Sorry, General T Storm, we had to let you go. Please do not touch family. General T Storm is the ambassador of the winners. Hashtag Hug Prodigy. Hopefully we keep that going trending. This is Under the Mat Radio. Toph, do you sign off?
That has happened.
Yeah, peace out, everybody. I hope everyone had a good Easter and stuff.
Yes. Any random shout-outs real quick, Shin?
Nope, Shahan.
Shit doing the shot hands. Hopefully, you take some Advil or Excedrin or Tylenol PM or Robitussin for your headache. Hopefully, you feel better. And it's a Game Boy.
Take care, everybody. See y'all next week.
Yes, next week, don't forget, we will have KC commentary. Sean Oliver, the owner, will be joining us. And also, world-famous comedian Nick Mundy will be joining us, talking about his new web series with Chris Jericho and his interview with The Rock. Love everybody much. We'll talk to you next week under the Mass Radio. So Still Burns.